Now, what can this newly invigorated team TheOne do to KT? I suspect terrible, terrible things.
I suspect you might be right. I would even go as far as to say that if this game goes how I suspect it might go, it might be against the Geneva Convention. But if not, KT, they have been known to be the team that pulls out surprises.
Yeah.
When they are just completely written off by everyone, they will be the team to pull out something and just absolutely dominate. Maybe one map, maybe two, but we will find out. The first map is going to be Sky Temple.
And KT choosing that battleground is a little interesting to me because traditionally speaking, Sky Temple has been one of the more privileged and prioritized maps coming in from TheOne. They had special treatment by TheOne. It was picked so often. Hence privilege.
Yes, TheOne is privileged on this map. I mean, actually, this season, they're actually just 1-1 on Sky Temple. They won against RPG on it and lost against CE on it. So TheOne looking to pad out those stats a little bit, bring this map back up to some of their top wins. So they ban out the Abathur.
Yep, Abathur, of course. Like, to me at this point, for KT, it's all about landing a lucky punch. This is probably their best chance. And one of those heroes that usually allows these kinds of strategies is an Abathur, because he does so many things so well on this battleground. You can keep your structures alive using the mule. You can empower a lot of those aggressive heroes as well. And it's a little surprising to me, though, that TheOne banned it when KT already went for Maiev and the Genji ban. But that also means, Tetcher, that we're going to see a white main coming in from TWT.
That's interesting. KT have yet to play white main this season. This is a first for them. They have banned her once. That's it. So this is completely new for them.
All right, white main. You saw it there, ladies and gentlemen. 71.4% is her win ratio. Now that is pretty good if you just consider the odds, but you also have to consider the players behind the game that you're currently watching. Raynor, by the way, 41.4%. That is quite disappointing, given the fact that there were so many good Raynor games as of late in China.
That's true. Raynor is a very effective assassin, but he is not a carry assassin. If he needs to be empowered. It's like a Valor. Yeah, she had the highest pick rate during the double support meta. Didn't mean she had the highest win rate. It's just that she was worked with the meta at the time, and was basically all the meta was built around her.
Okay, now what is the final ban going to be for TheOne here? Still a couple of other heroes available. I would have probably gone for a Garrosh because I found Garrosh plus white main to be absolutely insane. Absolute insanity. I think if you remember, like, which game was it actually? Dignitas played against someone else where they had JPL and Zelia just causing that amazing play with a 5-man Dragon's Arrow.
That might have been Granite, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was Granite Gaming. There you go. Yep, I saw the clip recently and remembered it like it was yesterday. So good.
Li Ming comes in. They've got a Dahaka as well. So they've got that global potential. Great for the map. They've got good initial damage with fantastic follow-up burst. It's a good draft so far.
Without a doubt. I think this is probably one of the more solid drafts that we've seen from KT. Now TheOne. Hugo probably playing Thrall again, but this time I really don't want to see the Crash Lightning. I really want him to go for that traditional Soul Laner role. I mean, it could still happen if for some weird, odd reason they decided to let Junkrat go for the solo. It's not necessarily bad per se, but it just got annihilated the last time they played it. Crash Lightning, that is.
So with Johanna picked up as the final pickup. And yeah, maybe don't play the Crash Lightning. I would argue this is definitely not the best map for it anyway, so I'm pretty sure we'll see Echo of the Elements. And we're going to see the Timeless Johanna. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is the effective choice that they need here?
I feel like this is the last resort for KT. Whenever they feel outnumbered and outgunned, they stick to the Johanna because that, for some reason, seems to be Timeless's most successful hero. Although we know Timeless to be that crazy aggressive type of player, for some reason he performs usually very well on that very defensive and the least aggressive of all the warriors. So maybe that's going to help them out, who knows? Andre here, now known as Bad, is certainly going to try to help in that cause to maybe get that upset, cause that upset and snatch away a point from TheOne. But let's face it, Tetcher, the weapons that TheOne have assembled look very scary as well.
I mean, both teams have pretty solid drafts. Everything synergizes. It's just... I mean, I'm going to say that the global is already just a huge lean for KT. Having a global on this map is fantastic, and it is an aggressive global, something that they are good at. But the one's draft is solid, it is safe, it's their style. I have no issues with this, as we are preparing to head into game number 1.
All right, Sky Temple, the teams are getting ready and deployed. Who's going to walk away with that first victory in that young best of 2? We're going to find out in a bit. So, on the left-hand side, representing the one in the blue trunks, we've got, I'm just going to start regardless, ZJZ, Ming, Hugo, there we go, Huhua, and Keshi.
And on the right, it is KT with TWTWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad. And in a vacuum, looking at these two drafts, I think I prefer KT's. And having a look at the level 1s, they're already getting a bit creative. We're seeing the Clemency, and we're seeing the Exterminator.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to switch it up. China has caught up onto that Inquisition build that has been common in other regions for such a long time now. Previously, last week, we were almost exclusively used... Actually, we did see it every single time, if I recall correctly. The Q build, yes, which has been nerfed quite a bit with the last previous bounds updates.
QQ Cleanse, that was basically the only build we ever saw, and that was it, with Aegis, no damage. Even though damage also sneaks its way into Europe, especially now and again.
All right, so up to this point, aside from the fact that we now see Clemency and probably more W talents on white main, not really any surprises left. Sapphire, nope. Everything fairly standard. I mean, it's probably worth mentioning the Exterminator on Raynor. Sometimes Chinese Raynor players, they will stick to that every now and then, especially when they feel that their team is lacking wave clear. So also really allows Raynor to pump down those mercenaries a little more quickly, and we can see him do exactly that right now.
They will be taken out. So yeah, it's interesting seeing that. I mean, that means their boss race potential is good, which is fantastic because it was the one who had boss pressure previously due to the fact they have a Hanzo. Basically means that if at any point you win a fight or you see the opponent's top lane, you have a much easier time of just saying boss and just doing it without the opponent having time to rotate down. Raynor counters that, as we already have seen on Battlefield of Eternity. Exterminator can actually race pretty effectively against the Hanzo. It's the exact same here with the boss.
All right. Yep. Mercenary value is pretty huge. Bottom lane, as you said, for later on, boss pressure can not be underestimated enough. Look at ZJZ, by the way. Sneaky micromanagement and positioning here, trying to intercept a couple of leaning abilities, but not too many. So you don't want to risk dying here. But it was enough for one tower to fall on the side of KT.
Level 4 hit for both teams pretty much simultaneously. Everything looking pretty normal here. We're seeing that Mana Tide for Thrall. Raynor sticking with Behemoth Armor. It just really has become the pick these days.
Yeah, and I can't blame Raynor players too much for it, unless your enemy team has, let's say, a double reset combo with Leaning, Genji maybe. Yeah, CC, right, Tetcher, a lot of CC. You really want to pick the more burst-centric talent, fight, or flight. But aside from that, I think the extra health is just so nice.
Actually, the wrong way around there. I was thinking like high CC, you want Behemoth Armor because you're never going to actually be able to activate your Adrenaline Rush.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I guess if you're timing it right, if it's slow CC, like if there's a Butcher on the enemy team,
or Jaina,
then your fight or Jaina where you know it's coming, that's fine. Fight or flight is completely fine there because you know it's coming. You can activate it, get the armor. But otherwise, if it's quick stuff like a power slide or something like that, then Behemoth Armor, a little bit safer.
That's the beauty about Heroes of the Storm, Tetcher. We are flexible. We can adjust to so many different situations.
As we see the top lane getting absolutely wrecked via laser and people with swords. So they're even going to throw in and Geometry, apparently, as we have the Geometry brothers with Hanzo and Decapcane putting in some siege. But the quick clear speed of Lotus really coming into effect there, clearing out the minions of Mercs very quickly.
Yeah, up to this point, KT is not really doing too shabbily. Look at that. Bad now being pressured a little bit by Huohu on the Muradin. Should have his Dwarf Paw still. Jumps away to safety up to this point. Even for a Muradin, you know, dropping down to 25% of your health is a little too much here. And as a result, we see both temples being shared equally. So, friendly match almost, you could say. Not really much has happened. No kills have happened. And that's actually the second series today, Tetra, I believe, in which KT doesn't really stand for aggression, but actually they're trying to play it much more diligently, I would call it.
So now then, we are seeing that cleanse once again, already being used. Not enough to save Li Ming though. She gets blown up by the one, picking up first blood. That was kind of out of nowhere. That was just a mispositioning by Li Ming.
Yeah, that was not really the strongest of moments here for Li Ming. Kiaru also taking that Stormbolt. I think that could have been dodged almost. And then, of course, with that healing reduction, but Whitemane.
Very good heal, and Hilthor is dropped very low. Is forced to back up, but he is Muradin. Trait will heal him up very quickly. He's looking for the opportunity. The camp will be stolen. They even root Whitemane. Johanna hovers around from the side. They just realize they can't catch him. Well, actually, they're going to try and catch Hugo. He Wind Furies. Drags out of range.
Yeah, too fast, too furious here. Hugo on that thrall, escaping in the nick of time. But once again, I just want to highlight that there was a slight misplay, I think, by Kiaru. If he had dodged the Stormbolt first, he probably would have also dodged the Emerald Cube in the same instance here. So slightly too late, that burrow, and that really cost a lot of time and, you know, a lot of momentum for KT, who now find themselves with a half-level lead, half-level disadvantage.
Damage onto Keshi, just trading out Lotus. Even without Ace in the hole, just the single target damage you can do as Reina these days is absolutely insane. And he is going to back up because he's lost vision of a lot of people. Doesn't want to get caught out.
Oh,
bad. Might not be as careful.
They still didn't know that Muradin was there. They scouted the wrong bush, unfortunately, but fortunately for them, nothing drastic happened here. Still, everybody was being put to safety. But that really shows the mind games that tank players can sometimes, you know, play with their opponents who are actually staying in the bush, but trying not to stay in the most obvious of bushes.
As we see everyone rotating back to lanes, next objective going to be in bot lane. So an immediate rush onto this camp with Raider. You can see Exterminated just smashing through these. As Dahaka heads to top lane, he's going to stay up here as long as possible to try and beat the global and also get his team level 10. So that way he'll be able to fight on even turns and maybe even out-soak the one. As the one do get a head start though.
All right, level 10. Are we going to see any surprises here? Nope. Scarlet Aegis, and we see the Rainer's Raider for the first time today, I believe. In all the other previous games, we had Hyperion, but that is, of course, always a map-dependent choice as well. In those situations where there's a lot of skirmishing near a temple going on, I think the Rainer's Raider is just fine. And pop goes Hanzo!
Hanzo gets deleted, drag as well onto Decker, trying to finish him off, but he gets a shield potion and an immediate turnaround onto Li Ming. Both these teams, assassins, are just made of paper as people just get destroyed the second there's a lockdown.
But look at the overall outcome here for KT. They end up getting a couple of shots here, and they too have that mercenary pressure in the top lane. So them keeping their opponents busy up to this point without them having a global, that's going to actually be some serious damage. And already Hanzo realizes that they cannot actually keep up their pressure here. They would rather protect their top lane a little more here. So in the end, a really good team fight for KT. That death on Li Ming could have maybe been avoided if Bad hadn't been so, not going to say it, reckless.
They push in further. It looks like KT are going to try and still set up a trap. Grab Hugo here. Moving forward, the trap has been sprung, but a surprise Hilthor might be able to save the day here. As Hugo has managed to wrap around to the top. Less shield being burned, and they get the commitment onto Muradin.
Could KT be the one's kryptonite here?
Yeah. Well, we're about to find out. Remember what I said earlier about Raider Exterminator damage? Look at the speed that boss goes down. Keshi will see this. They don't have Sundering. They have Riptide. That's going to be their steal opportunity if they try. Riptide coming in from downtown, but it's too late. Cam's taken. Now the question is, what's going to be the value of this Riptide? Looks like a little bit of damage onto Lotus is the value.
You could actually see the panic reaction coming in from TWT on Whitemane as well, dropping the Scarlet Aegis just in case, right? Because 40 armor is pretty good against Riptide. So they definitely wanted to make sure that this boss was not taken. None of their team members would actually have to fall there. And already they abandoned this boss. They rotate to the middle instead, and they're trying to take down a structure or two.
Moving forward, down goes the fort in the middle.
Good.
That is the second fort of the game, as top was taken down earlier. Stormbolt dodged. Dahaka is cleaning up top lane as the one were much more patient with their Bruiser camp, and while Dahaka was able to do damage to the front wall, this Fallen Shaman, wrong map. This Bruiser camp was able to get some pretty decent value into this top lane, so now Dahaka is de-pushing and trying to gain some value up there as well.
All right, KT with a lot of momentum that they've just built up. They have equalized the building score. We've got 1 fort for 1 fort. Level-wise, we're almost dead even. Timeless with a quick, cheeky sidestep there. Point blank range, good stuff. And they do have the global as well, Tetra. That is an advantage that we can never discount of when it comes to, you know, getting additional soaking in, when it comes to temple occupation.
Good Sonic Arrow, gaining vision, forcing Timeless out into the lane, but he just uses it for wave clear. He's hovering around, Banshee spotted him, so they're able to reposition a little bit quicker. Scatter Arrow see pretty much everyone. Dahaka has moved to mid lane right now for his soak. Needs to be careful. Lotho and Timeless dodging the Stormbolt again. Timeless getting some great jukes. Here comes Dahaka. The drag misses though. Lord Nado, great harassment as they've dropped the Aegis. Everyone pulling back. Iron Skin burn on Timeless, who's dropping very low. He's been slowed, but a nicely min combo kills off the Riptire.
And guess what? The Banshee is still alive as well. The Banshee can be really valuable too when it comes to intercepting skill shots like that Murd and Stormbolt. But look at the golden tongue by Dahaka grabbing Junkrat there where it hurts. And yeah, with a one-man advantage in that team fight, they're going to secure themselves a temple. And if Dahaka actually has his global ready, they can even just rotate to the top one as well.
Pretty sure Dahaka used his global to get down here, so he's going to have to wait a while for that. Looks like it's going to be the rest of the team that rotates. Though, interrupting the rotation very effectively. Everyone else of the one already on the way. Junkrat, remember, incredibly map mobile, so he'll also make his way up there, turning that into a 4 versus 5. So it looks like KT might just be willing to give up this temple, take their XP lead, and grab this Merc camp. That looks to be the strategy until at least Dahaka has Rush Stalker ready again.
And if you look at it, if you look at the minimap right now, there's definitely more damage to be done here by the one for them to equalize. So if they just split temples, KT is going to maintain a magnificent lead, actually. They're going to have the middle fort. Okay, never mind. That one temple might perhaps be able to get both forts.
No, they reclaim.
Wow.
They reclaim. KT in position. Dahaka comes in, isolation, but doesn't land the drag. The Lornado for the disengage, but Huhu is in so much danger. There's an Avatar, though. This time keeps him alive. He was dropped so low after the Blessed Shield, but it was not enough to finish him, and he will back up.
It will be enough, however, to get those final shots, and those are important ones. I mean, the middle fort now fell to the minion onslaught for the one, but the bottom lane remains alive for now. That is huge, because that prevents 16 from being obtained just like that for the one, and that also prevents them from fighting over the temple. So, really good stuff. I like KT and the momentum that they've built up. It's safe to say, Tetra, I think, that this is by far the best game that KT have played all season long.
They're certainly looking strong right now. And against a team that just went 1-1 versus our top team in the league, this is a fantastic start for KT. This could be a huge morale boost if they're able to win this, and especially if they can use it moving into the next map as well. As we've seen this with KT before, they always play better when they're on a winning streak. Second they start losing, they seem to demoralize themselves. Yeah,
and they seem to have this certain aura around them that makes them play particularly well against the stronger teams. Whereas if they play Team Nut or A-Team and consorts, they usually seem to struggle a little bit more, which is a really fascinating thing to observe.
It is most unusual, but who's gonna complain as we see the pressure coming in? The one, they're gonna gain some counter pressure themselves, grabbing a fort, but a fort for preliminary damage on a keep. How quickly can they port back? Because minions demounting Kieshi here. With no minions in top lane, though, KT can't push any further. So it's going to be a fort in exchange for the front wall of the keep and a tiny bit of keep damage. This is
Oh, no way. Are they actually trying to do that? The boss timer must be on KT's watches here.
It's scouted. It's scouted. Dahaka finds it. Drags Thrall. They need someone on the point, though. Raider wraps around from the side. Troll Nado keeping him off the point, though, but they're dropping Thrall. Easy play. And KT stand on the point. Victorious. The banner is raised. Riptire, though, for an attempt at a counter. Dahaka. Scatter Arrow kills off Li Ming. They get Dahaka, too, as Junkrat drops huge damage onto the backline, and they get a triple kill.
That was amazing. That was an amazing comeback by the One. They had the concave there. It was almost impossible for KT to actually make anything happen after they blew their entire damage onto Thrall. We're going to actually take a look at the replay here. Look at Hugo. He's absorbing all those cooldowns, right? And now what happens? Dehaka in trouble so much. Zoning still from the Earthquake. It's impossible for them to even reach Hanzo. And look at all the damage they're coming in here with that Junkrat Overwatch double combo with the Hanzo. So much damage.
That Riptire and Keshi came up big. Huge plays by the One. They're now actually ahead in experience, and this temple is pinging on to the tier 2s of KT. The boss was already clear because guess what? Hanzo survived. So now this middle keep is going to start taking damage. KT, everyone has come back to life. What can they make happen? Because they have to stop this happening.
This was not a worth loss, unfortunately, for KT. It looked good for the first moment, right, when they killed Hugo, but the Earthquake being so strong, even in death, that was just amazing. So, the game is not over by any means. The middle keep survived. That is the saving grace for KT. They need another good team fight, though. No other objectives available on the map right now. All mercenary camps have been taken, barred this one, and now it has been taken. Now, the Bruiser camp came back online here. Experience lead for the One because of that team fight win. So if KT wants to make something happen, they better hurry up. Otherwise, Stormcade Talons are gonna be a thorn in their sides.
They're scouted again by Hanzo, but Johanna's moving in anyway. Just like, we don't care if you see us, we still want to make something happen. Bless Shield gets a double. Dragon Arrow only hits one person as bad. They're going to blink backwards. They begin to turn this round. Timeless getting turned on here. Neither Junkrat nor Dehaka are here. Dehaka finally arrives, but it's too late. The action has ceased.
Wow, so many heroic abilities were used as well, but look at that. Junkrat wasn't even in the vicinity here. So in theory, it would have been a 4 versus 5 hold until Junkrat had arrived. So that was, I think, was actually good by the One to really, you know, pretend like they were going all into this team fight so that KT actually had to retreat for a little bit.
It's going to get them 20. Level 20 will be achieved by the One now even quicker than what it was before. Meng will see this is happening. Doesn't even bother scouting. He knows camp is taken, so that's going to be at least a little bit of deeper pressure onto top lane. It's a big boost in XP for KT, who now can't fight. What they need is experience. They need to stay alive, and then only half a level away from level 20, so they might actually be able to do this, but this keep is going to take a lot of damage in the meantime.
Yeah, Thrall going for the blink here at level 20, by the way. Doesn't go for the Earthen Shields. It would have been a team fight boon, if you will. Shielding with every pulse of Earthquake, but tries to keep himself alive. Because Hugo, up to this point, he seems to have been the main focus target. So I like this defensive call here, this slightly selfish call, but if Hugo stays alive because of it, definitely worth it.
Timeless, purposefully running into every single Junkrat bomb there to protect any shots going onto that mid keep. Finally, though, it's going to die to the Temple. As, once again, 20 still not available for KT. What is KT
doing in the bottom?
They have to give up a keep. They're gathering experience. It's the only lane that was close enough for them. So now they can do that, rotate through mid as well, get experience there if they needed it. They are, but it was their only choice. They couldn't fight before 20. They would die.
Ooh, all right. Let's see if they can actually stop the bleeding in time right now. I mean, what Tetra says makes perfect sense, right? But still, was the damage too high for them to recover? The middle half laser shots. Top half laser shots. Let's see. I think the One, they realized, you know what? Those team fights haven't been going so well for us. We're just going to kite them around.
Makes so much more sense. However, the saving grace for KT here, as the One is playing much smarter. KT, though, they have Dehaka. This is basically their factor of, we don't care about this. He can rotate near their base, in between the lanes, put the pressure on, and attempt to achieve the value that way by preventing catapults going onto the core. This keep barely survives. That's going to be tilting for KT, as they will clear up the camp. Once again, Exterminator, another great clear tool. They're really not concerned about catapults. KT have so much freedom, but they do need to be concerned about Dehaka's positioning. He will port back and should be safe.
Yep, should be safe. Why do I have this looming omen here, Tetra, that we might actually see the decision over this game in the boss pit?
You might be right. We'll see. Hanzo's actually in position already. Is the boss already up? I guess it is, because of where Hanzo is. They're going to get a keep in exchange for a boss hit.
And this could be a...
Boss should be taken.
Yeah. KT is way too late. They were taking this sacrifice willingly, though, because they just got the keep for this, which is not the worst of trades, and they still have keep themselves there. Oh my goodness, Kiaru playing with fire here.
Risky positioning. He's going to move back. He's going to have to run back because people are closing in on him. The walls are closing in. Dodge the hook. That's the number one objective. He does not dodge, taking big damage. Rest of his team's coming in, though. He might go for a turnaround. He gets the isolation onto the Thrall. Lord Nado for the zoning capability. Johanna sneaks through, gets the blessed shield. Dahaga is trying to focus Thrall, but they're so split. Lotus is nowhere near this. Scarlet Aegis only delays, but that was a horrible angle to fight it.
And TWT is probably going to say goodbye here as well. He tries to do what Whitemane does so well, and that is keeping herself alive. But even that is not going to be enough here. Terrible positioning there in the end by KT. They were way too split to really do anything against that onslaught coming in by TheOne. So the more experienced, the better quote-unquote team wins after all. But KT put up one hell of a show. There goes Raynor to say goodbye, and Tetcher with the boss knocking on the core. I think this game is over.
Down goes Timeless eventually. Li Ming is the only remaining hope, but with the boss so much health left on it, that is going to be GG. And game number 1 goes over to TheOne.
All right, Tetcher, I wonder if Kiaro had taken a different flight path, maybe that would have been safer. Why did he go across the bridge?
Yeah, if he'd gone through the jungle, he would have had more bushes, would have potentially had a better escape route, would have been nearer his team. He decided to take the much riskier route. He pulled so many people in, and that fight angle. I like the idea of running past the boss to fight, but that Trollnado from the boss was so troll, and then the Lornado as well on top of that. That was a complete shutdown of any flank attempt by KT, and yeah, the fact that they committed to that afterwards was just a nightmare.